All right, everybody, welcome. And we are going to go ahead and finish up Chapter 5, as I said earlier. I had to go to a meeting, and it lasted almost 2 hours, so it was a little bit rough. But I'm going to go ahead and finish up these last 3 problems here, and I don't see many people here in the live stream, so if you're here on demand, just make sure you comment, okay? And then I will get a notification that you were in here and participated. So, let's go back to desktop here, and we're going through this lab 7 Demorgans, and so you can see here, this is what I left you with to start off. So I've already got this written on the board, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at this. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the first one up here. This is a NAND. All right, that's the output of that gate. That becomes the input of this NOR with C. So it's C plus AB, and then the whole thing knotted. Got to keep these things straight, okay? The next one, that result is then NANDed with A. So we have A and C plus AB. Be very careful here. There's a bar over this. There's a bar over this whole thing. And now there's a bar over that whole thing. So now we're starting to add them up here, aren't we? Once more, we take that and we NOR it with C. So X equals C, or that whole thing, A times C plus AB. That, and then the whole thing has a bar because it's NORed together. It's this term NORed with this term. Okay? So I'm just going to start doing some Demorgans here. Now, with these, you may ask yourself the following question. Should I start on the inside and work out, or should I go top down? Doesn't matter. You could break that bar first, and then you can come inside and break this bar. Just keep doing that if you want to. It doesn't really matter. This time, I'll go ahead and just go from the top. So I'm going to break the top bar. Remember, this is my quantity, that whole thing, and this is my quantity, and they're NORed together. So I'm going to break that and distribute it and change the sign. So now I've got C, and this thing just flipped off on me. Oh, so that time it actually tells me to change the battery pack. Not a problem. Okay. See if I need to adjust this at all. There we go. All right, back to business. Okay, so I've distributed. I've changed the sign, and now I write this: A times C plus AB. The whole thing, and now that I have to break that and pull it over here. Okay. So I'm actually going to use the rules right now and say that the double bar I can get rid of. So now I'm going to rewrite this times C plus AB. Okay. Now I'm going to break the bar on this one and distribute it. And so now I've got C naught times A times C naught and the quantity that double barred now. So I broke the top one, distributed it, changed the sign between. I know that anything complemented twice goes back to itself. So now I've got equals C naught times A times C naught AB. Okay. The C's are redundant. the not C's are redundant, the not A's, or I'm sorry, the A's are redundant, so I end up with A, C not B. Okay? And let me grab my, is this 112 right here? 111. Okay. So let me double check this here. Make sure I didn't go haywire. So again, this is A not B, or A, B, not, the whole thing knotted. That becomes a quantity to be NORed with C. That becomes a quantity to be NANDed with A. That becomes a quantity to be NORed with C. Okay? All right. And so, I think that should be the final answer. Okay? Let me come back here. Okay, so Steve is here. So did you get a chance to do this, and is this what you got? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to my desktop here while I'm waiting on that answer. And I'm going to go back to the PDF, scroll down a little bit more, and then there's two more here at the bottom. Okay. Here's the one I'm going to do next. So I'm just going to write this equation on the board. So you can go ahead and write that down if you didn't get a chance to do this. Okay. Definitely want to write this down and follow along with what I'm doing. So we've got W equals AB. The whole thing knotted, and that's plus CD, and those two terms are NORed together. And what do we have? We've got plus ACD, where we've got a D knot, and then we've got the whole thing NANDed together there. Okay. I have an itch. Okay. Go ahead and switch back over to this view here. At the board. And let's solve this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and do Demorgan's on this side first. And so that's going to give me, break the sign. These are my two terms that are NORed together. And so I'm going to break the bar, put it over AB. Plus, break the bar, I'm sorry, that is not a plus. Change the sign, put the whole thing over CD. Okay? I can do Demorgan's on this as well. Break the bar, change the sign. I know there's three of them here, but that doesn't matter. So I'm going to break the bar, change the sign. So A naught plus C naught plus D double naught. Okay? In this next step, I'm going to go ahead and eliminate my double bars. So now I've got AB, CD plus A naught plus C naught plus D. Okay? Finally, I'm going to do this last Demorgan's right here. So now I've got AB times C plus D plus A naught plus C naught plus D. And so then I'm going to distribute this out. And so I've got ABC naught plus ABD naught plus A naught plus C naught plus D. All right. Well, I can see these two have an AB. That doesn't help me, though. Anything have an A naught? Nope. Anything have a C naught? There's a C naught. So I can get rid of that term by factoring out from here and here, right? This term and this term have a C naught in it. And so I'm going to arrange those. I'm going to use some of the laws to rearrange them, and then I'm going to pull out the C naught. So C naught times AB plus what's left over here is 1. So AB plus 1. Okay? And then plus, I'm going to go ahead and write the rest of this. ABD naught plus A naught plus D. Okay? And so this is going to go to 1, and then C naught times 1 is C naught. So then we can rewrite this again, and I'm going to switch this around in how I write it. Now I'm going to write it A naught or ABD naught plus C naught plus D. Okay? I can see that a rule 10 applies here because I've got A naught and A out in front, and so whatever it's ANDed with out there, I just get rid of the A. So I'm going to use, so I'll write this off to the side because it's the first time I've used it. Rule 10. So equals A naught plus BD naught plus C naught plus D. Now, if I rearrange this, I see that I have another Rule 10 situation here with D, right? D and D naught. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that D naught because that's what Rule 10 tells me I can do. So A naught plus B plus C naught plus D. Okay? So that should be the next one. So this time, instead of going top down, this one performed exactly the same. Okay? This one, instead of going top down, I went inside out. So I took care of this Demorgan's first and did this here. Now I'm left with a three-way NOR. Broke the bar, changed the sign, distributed it, right? And then this stays the same. Get rid of the double bars, rewrite everything, do the Demorgans on this, distribute on the C and the D, change the sign, and then the rest of it is exactly the same as before. And it all comes down to A naught plus B plus C naught plus D. Okay? All right. Well, let's go ahead and head over to the last part of this, and this is the doozy. Okay, so I'm going to keep that just as you see it, and I'm going to come over here and erase what I have and write that, and then we will do this one. All right, so X equals C plus D, and then ACD, and that's got a middle C bar, and it also has ACD barred, the whole thing, and then AC plus D. That's A naught C plus D naught, and then the whole shooting match. So it's a final. If I can get back over here. Let me get back over and I'll show you what I mean here. I know that the last gate in this is a more than likely, well, it has to be a NAND gate, right? Because you got this term NANDed with this term, NANDed with this term, right? All three of those are NANDed together. Okay, again, I can go one of two ways. I can go inside out this way and worry about this first, or I can go top down, okay? This one, I don't think it matters. I don't think there's a good strategy. So I'll just go top down. Okay, so I'm going to break the bar, change the sign. So C plus D, the whole thing is now knotted, plus, now that thing's going to get double barred. So C bar bar plus that whole thing gets barred. Right? So I just did the Demorgans over the top. That's all I've done so far. Okay? I'm going to do Demorgans here. Gives me C naught and D naught. Plus, I'm going to get rid of the double bar on top. Now this is just A naught, C naught. So, just to recapture before it froze me out, right? I got rid of the double bar up top. I did the Demorgans here, and I did the Demorgans here. Break the bar, change the sign, distribute. I'm going to then get rid of that. So C naught, D naught, plus A, C naught, D, plus Demorgan's this plus C, and then that whole thing is times D. Okay, because these are multiplied together. So another line here, plus A C naught D plus dA plus DC naught. Okay, now we've gotten all the Demorgans out of the way. Now I want to go ahead and use my rules and figure out what the final answer is. I noticed, let's see, is there any big ones I can get out of the way? Nope, no big ones. Because if I pull a C naught out of everything, that's not going to do me any good. If I pull a D out, it might help a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and do, so I'm going to do this term and this term. This one has a C naught D, and this one has a C naught D. So I'm going to take it out of those two. So C naught D times A plus 1. And then I got to rewrite this one, C naught D naught, make sure I'm keeping this straight. And then plus DA, or AD, if you want to. If you're concerned about alphabetical order, AD, okay? So that's going to go to 1, and then I'm left with C naught D plus C naught D naught plus AD. If I pull the C naught out, I'm left with D plus D naught, because I know that this is going to give me a 1, because anything ORed with its complement is a 1. And then plus AD, so that's going to go to 1, and so I think the answer is AD plus C naught. What say you? Come over here to YouTube, see if we got something. So you got, if we just, okay, you see your mistake, very good. So once you've corrected that mistake, do you agree with what I got? And I see you, Okichakwu. All right, well, if everybody agrees, then this should be a really short process afterwards when it goes back to HD. So yeah, I think that takes care of the last 3, and